Chiefs, Texans, winners, Stroud looking like a monster. We're breaking it all down, the reaction show to this absolutely amazing lambasting by both this Texans and Chiefs team in this wild card round, the Saturday games. I can't wait for tomorrow. We'll be breaking down this game, the fantasy football impact, what we're thinking about all these players right here on this screen and more. Guys like Achane and Mostert, what happens to them, Tyreek Hill. But specifically, we're going to talk about these 5 gentlemen on screen, these absolute monsters, the CJ Stroud, Tank Dell, Nico Collins stack. Can you imagine how good Stroud's going to be once he has Tank Dell back? Like right now, they look good. It kind of reminds me of a pancake stack. What do you guys think? Maybe we transition over the Stroud and the Nico and the Tank stack to become the official 2024 pancake stack? What do you say?
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
I think it's time. The Fantasy Football Show begins now.
Live from the FantasyFootballShow.com studios. It's the Fantasy Football Show. Live! Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. Smitty is also live whenever news breaks.
Live whenever news breaks, live after games, live during graveyard shifts, live Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern. When are we not live? Maybe I should list when we're not live. That might be a little bit easier to list and rattle off. But man, what a fantastic game. 2 games. When it comes to fantasy football production and especially when it comes to this Houston Texan team and what we're seeing develop out of CJ Stroud, Pacheco was fantastic. Rashee Rice, absolute monster. But yeah, this new pancake stack, look, we're an adjust and adapt people. And we will always love Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase. I mean, I've got this Jamar Chase helmet right here. I don't pretend to feel differently about that stack. It'll always be the pancake originating stack. But in my opinion, we are an adjust and adapt community. This should be an evolving pancake stack. Every year it gets passed on. Will there be any repeated pancake stackers that go from one year to the next? But all I know is right now, there's no more fitting stack than the Tank Dell, CJ Stroud, and Nico Collins triple stack, pancake stack, doing it live stack.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
What am I doing? We need a third pancake here. There we go. We'll move this down. Move this down slightly. There we go. Triple stack, pancake stack. This team looks great. Houston.
Where's your mashed potatoes?
Yeah, buddy.
Houston, we do not have a problem. Houston looks phenomenal. D'Amico, what a coach. What a player's coach. What a phenomenal future this club has. I mean, if you're a Houston Texan fan, you got a lot to be excited about. And Caserio, this GM, this insanely talented GM, Caserio not only orchestrated once he got brought in. A lot of people don't know this. Caserio came in and he orchestrated this trade of Deshaun Watson, and he did it right away. Not only did he get rid of the absolute worst, I think, quarterback situation they could have been in with this guy in the off the field stuff, and the fact that I didn't think he had it anymore at that point, right? He'd been sitting, cobwebs building on the bench, just piling up all over him. Guy's not the same player as I predicted in the offseason. I remember all the people coming in saying, Smitty, you're going to be wrong about Watson. You'll see. Yeah, where are those people? Where are those people? Who was that? Who was that person that came at me every day about how I'm going to be wrong about how good Deshaun Watson's going to be? Oh, you like Jordan Love over Deshaun Watson? You're crazy, Smitty. You're crazy, Smitty. But no, we're here. We're here right now talking about Love. We're here right now talking about Stroud. We're not here talking about Deshaun Watson. Okay? And so I just think this Casario character over in Houston is orchestrating one of the most unbelievable rebounds and rebuilds in a quick capacity I've ever seen in my life. This guy has orchestrated not only that trade, getting out of that situation, having a hand in bringing in a new head coach that everybody loved from the moment he walked in the door, to probably having a heavy hand. We don't even know how much of a heavy hand, but a heavy hand in getting Stroud and a lot of these key components on the squad. This team has a phenomenal core. This team has a running back in Devin Singletary. Is he on our running back free agency board? I think he might be. Yeah, Singletary. He's a free agent. He's an unrestricted free agent, right? So, I mean, I'm not saying they bring him back. I'm not saying he's a big piece, but he looks fantastic right now. He looks reborn. Kind of weird that Zach Moss leaves Buffalo and becomes really good in Indianapolis. Kind of weird Singletary leaves the situation in Buffalo, comes over to Houston, looks really good. I just feel like we aren't judging those Buffalo backs properly, because once they leave, they're phenomenal. Where's James Cook going to go in a year or two, and then all of a sudden pop off and be more explosive than we ever imagined? But neither here nor there. We're talking about C.J. Stroud. We're talking about Caceres did amazing job doing all these different pieces of this rebuild. All the hands, he had a hand in everything. And C.J. Stroud looks to be an absolute phenom in the making, a top 3 to 4 potential quarterback in the making. If anybody ranked him 3 or 4 next year in 2024 redraft, I couldn't fault him at all. I have no argument against that. I'm not even saying I would or wouldn't have him there. I think it would depend on what's going on with Mahomes by the end of this playoff. I think it would matter what happens in the offseason. There's a lot of things that play, a lot of moving parts involved in whether a player is going to walk into my 2024 rankings, like exactly where they are now. How does Josh Allen finish? I mean, I don't anticipate having him above Josh Allen or Hurts or probably even Mahomes, but good God, at that point, is Stroud not number 4? I think some would have him over Mahomes, and that's okay. But is he not number 4? Like, who are you putting over him? I don't know. I don't know that there's another quarterback that feels super like you're gonna look at AR5. You're gonna look at Burrow. You're gonna look at quarterbacks in that territory. Let me pull up my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings, and we'll pull these up and we'll break it down. So here's what we got here. Fantasy Football Show, thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings. Hurts, Allen, Mahomes, and then it's Stroud, Burrow, Lamar, AR5, all within like almost a space of being tied. It's just going to be a fun debate. I know a lot of people are going to feel very, very strongly about one of those guys, and I think it's probably going to be Stroud. And if somebody said I want him number 3 after Hurts and Allen, that's fine. If someone said they want him 1, I can't fault you. I can't even fault you. Like, what happens when Dell comes back? What happens when Dell comes back? How good does he look? He's been evolving since Dell's been back. He's been evolving since Dell's been gone. He's been evolving. Like, he's gotten better since Dell left. I can only imagine what the report is going to look like. The other debate we're going to have in the offseason here is who is better in 2024 and beyond, Collins or Tank Dell. I get everyone's going to want to say Collins because it's what have you done for me lately. It's what's in front of your face right now. I get that. But at the same time, guys, like, we can't forget what Dell was doing. We can't forget how Dell was targeted. We can't forget that Stroud did Rotate, but did lean a little heavier Dell. But, I mean, the rapport, you also can't ignore the rapport that Collins and Stroud are developing right now. You know, you can't ignore that increased amount of time they have together. The rapport building doesn't just go away and fall apart next offseason. So this will be a very, very interesting situation next year when we start talking about, well, next year, now. It all starts now. The 2024 season starts now. I guess I'm curious to think what are your initial thoughts? Tank, Dell, or Collins? You know, one of the two was going to be probably a high third rounder, if not both of them. One of them could be in the second round. If Collins finishes, I mean, let's look at my bracket. Let's see what I got to correct so far. Oh, wait, it's perfect so far. Let me copy this check mark over here so I don't have to type it in. Let me grab this over here. Look at this bracket. I know it's only 2 games in, but so far, your boy Smitty has crushed both picks. KC, doing it live, and Houston. If let's say Houston, who will play Baltimore, assuming Buffalo wins that Pittsburgh-Buffalo game, because if Pittsburgh wins it, they will go play the number 1 seed Baltimore Ravens, and then Houston being the higher seed of the two, Pittsburgh and Houston, would go down to play Buffalo. Essentially, Baltimore, because they're the 1 seed, they're granted the easiest path to the Super Bowl. So, as of my bracket, if Buffalo beats Pittsburgh, which I believe they will, then the worst remaining seed is the number 4 Houston Texans. So they will play the Baltimore Ravens. That's why this isn't actually locked in yet. If what I was trying to say is, bringing up this bracket, if the Houston Texans even lose this game, but Nico plays super, super well, it would not be shocking if he was the by far and away number 1 wide receiver in this wide receiver room to pretty much everybody walking into 2024. But if he, let's say, doesn't have the biggest game, I think some people will have kind of a memory of Tank Dell, a little bit stronger memory of him, and they might say, you know what, I think they're pretty close, or we'll see some back and forth. But I'd love to know what you guys think. So far, I'm seeing Collins right now, and that's the way I think people are going to feel. What have you done for me lately? Wild Bill says, love me some Tank Dell. Tank is going to keep getting 10 yards of separation on those DBs, says, appreciate you. Rashee Rice, we got to talk about Rashee Rice, absolutely. Let's swing on over to the news and go over everything. But Patrick Mahomes, let's hit this KC game first, I guess. KC, you can see at the bottom of the corner here, 26-7 over the Miami Dolphins. Kind of a lambasting, if you will. Mahomes dropping a decent game, 262, 1 touchdown. Could have been a lot better, but, you know, the conditions, the weather was pretty cold. The Dolphins, I think there was a stat, the Dolphins they're 0-10 in games below 40-degree weather, which is crazy. So, like, they had no shot in this game from that statistic right there. Mahomes is okay. This is a tough game to judge a lot of people statistically, to be honest, because of the weather. 7 of 10 for 71. Look, Kelsey, like, he ended up with an okay stat line, right? I mean, you got 14 points in PPR. That's not horrible at all. And that's still a top 10, top 5, top 6, tight end, the way he plays. But he had 2 big drops. He's not the same guy. He's not the same guy. He's older. He's got to focus more. He's got to work harder. He's probably not doing that. You can say, oh, you're assuming a lot of things, Smitty. Well, I can tell you this. If he's flying back and forth doing all these things that he normally wouldn't be doing, I'm not saying he can't have a life. I'm not saying that, I think everybody should relax a little bit on the guy living his life and having, like, a lot of people are just jealous, I think, of his situation, so they rip on him and stuff. I'm not attacking him from that perspective. I'm merely saying that at his age, if he wants to play elite football, he's got to put in more than he's ever put in before. And it's just showing. He's dropping passes left and right. I don't know if he's just distracted. I don't know if he's nervous. I don't know what it is, but Travis Kelce of old whether he's getting older or not, would not have dropped those 2 easy footballs, and it's been something he's been doing all year long. He's had a lot of drops, easy couple touchdown grabs he's dropped in a league where I needed him. I know very well because I'm watching every single one of his games saying, is this the week? Is this the week? Is this the week? And a 14-point game ain't bad. But this guy had an opportunity to score a whole lot more points, and he just leaves it all on the bench. Travis Swift is what we now call him. Tyreek Hill, 62 yards and a touchdown. Decent day. It could have been bigger. He's still not 100%. You can totally tell that. Rashee Rice, absolute monster. 8 of 12 for 130 and a touchdown. Should have had another tutty. This guy was absolutely phenomenal. 8 of 12, 130 yards, touchdown, monster, absolute gem, potential, but easily potential moon man next year. Easily a potential moon man. Tua Tagovailoa, again, there's weather involved in some of this, but 20 of 39, 199, 1 touchdown, 1 interception, threw a ball a little bit too high. He's not playing at an elite level at all right now, but the Miami Dolphins scheming and I think honestly Mike McDaniel, a lot of it comes down to Mike McDaniel. He's got to draw better plays. He's got to do things that get Devon Achane in open space. Devon Achane's going to get, I think, a lot of hate, which is fantastic. Like, I could care less at this point. I'm kind of quietly glad, as a lot of you Achane believers are probably as well, that he just didn't do a whole lot in this game, because I don't want anybody drafting him higher than they have to. And you can't blame this guy for getting 6 carries. None of that's his fault. The weather was bad. You think, okay, that's conducive to a good running attack, but not if you're down. And so my thinking here, and I don't know if you guys noticed, I didn't put Achane and Mostert on my Smitty locks of the week from Underdog. These were my 3 locks of the week. 2 of them were Nico, but you could obviously use these in 2 different contests. But a higher on 74.5 yards, smash that to pieces. Touchdown for Nico, 1.25 multiplier scorcher, smash that. And I only dropped 3 of these. I put them on my IG. I got 3 more coming tomorrow. And Pacheco, 68.5. These felt like taking candy from a baby. And if you want to do that as well, Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Hit that link. I'm going to drop the link in the live chat right now, but you can do these pick'ems as well. This was as easy as can be. It's like taking candy. It was seriously. It was just Pacheco 68.5 yards in the weather. I felt like, now you might say, okay, Smitty, why didn't you do the hires on the pretty decent? It was like 48 yards, 44 yards, something like that for Achane and Mostert, because yeah, at a weather game like this, you probably want to, hit that run higher. But if your team's down and behind, it's just going to be a bad and brutal game. In this cold weather, the Dolphins had no chance at all. Again, 0-10 in games below 40 degrees. This was like 0. So they had really no shot, and they're going to be behind. And therefore, that abandons the run. So there was no real opportunity at all for this running game to ever get going. But I love that people are going to blame Achane for this. I know they're going to, and I can't wait that they do. And it's going to be fantastic that they do. So we're going to be able to, let me pin this in the live chat right now. Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Again, they'll double your first deposit up to $100. So if you want to try these higher lows and also draft with us, we're going to do a lot of drafts. We did a lot of playoff mitten drafts. We'll do some other drafts, so get ready for it. But Pacheco, 68.5 higher. He smashed that to pieces. Here's Pacheco's line right here. Pacheco, 89 yards and a touchdown, and he should have had another touchdown. So he had a good day. He had a really good day. That's the KC line. Over here, we had Mostert, 33 yards, no touchdowns. We had Devon Achane, 6 carries for 9 yards, nothing. He had, 2 catches, something like that. 3 catches for 21 yards. So, this affects me 0. I'm not concerned about Achane at all. I think it will make some people try and, paint some other picture about him. See, I knew he wouldn't. You knew he wouldn't what? You knew he wouldn't what, Bob? Like, really? Okay, use this playoff game. Please, by all means, use this playoff game. Tyreek Hill's the only one that did anything of any use in this game. So it was just a bad game overall for the Miami Dolphins, except for Tyreek Hill. That was it. There was only one player that did anything of substance at all, and that was Tyreek Hill. And he barely did it because he scored on a touchdown that, could have very easily not happened. So there's that. I'll put these aside. Look at these monsters right here. We smashed these two pieces. These were absolute winners. We've got 2 more coming, 3 more coming tomorrow. We hit on all of these. Smash, smash, and smash. 3 more coming tomorrow. I'm only dropping 3. And I'll probably say take these, and when I give you 3 of these, you don't have to necessarily use all 3 of them, especially in a case where you can't use 2 of them like this. But use this as something you feel really comfortable with already, and do it live. 8chan. I haven't seen the chat about the chatter of 8chan, but I hope that. I hope that someone's in the chat right now just crapping on 8chan. I hope so, bro. I hope there's so many people that think 8chan's garbage off this game. It's casuals. Casuals, I tell you. We need some casuals to spread the word. Please continue to spread the word. Cleveland Browns got spanked. And can we just say that the Browns made the worst trade in NFL history, especially when you consider the contract involved. At least, if you want to say, the worst trade and contract together, like the combination that has ever been executed and signed in the history of the NFL. This is a quarterback that most of us in here knew was going to crap the bed. This is a quarterback that I think most of us in here didn't believe in. And this is a quarterback that really was walking into a situation where this team is really good. Like, it's a shame that this team has Deshaun Watson on such a big contract that this team's going to be forced to go with him. And if Flacco had a big game, it still would have changed anything because the Browns had to. 100%. They have to go back to Watson. The contract is just ridiculous. But had this guy come out and had like a 303 TD, 0 INT win, and then they go forward and they win another game and then they lose, there would have been a lot of people calling for Flacco-Watson competition, and it would have been really nasty in Cleveland. This is almost a blessing in disguise for the brass, because now they can say, okay, Flacco turned back into a pumpkin. A.J. Brown's not playing, no, Superfish. Flacco turned back into a pumpkin, shriveled up. And I know everybody's going to say, hey, he's still going to have a shot. No, he's not going to have a shot to start unless somebody gets injured. But Flacco is an old man that did really well this year, that went out and got completely annihilated. So being a backup again and climbing into the lineup if Watson goes down, or something, news breaks on Watson's situations, whatever, then Flacco could emerge again that way or something if he's staying in Cleveland. But this is not something where there's a quarterback controversy. Okay, this right here proved that. But I don't think we would have had one anyway, because they have the worst contract and trade in the history of the NFL that they've got to stick to. I don't think Flacco's starting anywhere next year. I don't think Watson's the answer, and it's a damn shame, because this team, the Cleveland Browns, is a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. Just like I said to Ron last night, the Pittsburgh Steelers are a quarterback away from being a Super Bowl contender. The Flacco, Watson, it's not going to lead them to a championship. If this team had a quarterback, if it were me, and I don't know that I would be able to get out of this quarterback contract situation. That's why this job's a horrible job to have. If you're a head coach, walking into this situation, or that currently has this situation, regardless, if you planted me in this situation and I had my hands tied on Deshaun Watson, and you do, that's the worst job in the world, because you're sitting there looking at a team that could actually be a Super Bowl contending team. Their defense is off the hook. They've got great playmakers. Chubb will be back, although I don't think he's going to do as well as people think right out of the gate. I don't think he is going to have a long career from here on out anyway because of the arthritis that's going to set in right away. That guy's had his knee demolished twice. And he's had the 2 worst knee injuries I've ever seen, and he's had both of them. But they've got Ford, they've got a lot of playmakers, they've got Amari Cooper, they've got a lot of talent on this roster, and the defense is amazing. They don't have a quarterback. Watson's not a quarterback. Not to mention Watson can't even bring out the best in the offense. He hampers it. He holds it back in a weird way. You know how some teams, they have a superstar in basketball and he commits like 3 early fouls and they take him out for like a quarter and a half and the team doesn't even have their best player on the court, but they do better? Like, that's just what it is. You could say Watson's a talent, an immense physical specimen, but he's not good for this team. I don't know how the Cleveland Browns move on from here because their window is open. I don't know that the window stays open for very long, but had they not been handcuffed and aren't still handcuffed to the situation, they could go out and trade, the farm for Fields. They can move up and take one of these rookie quarterbacks, which honestly, if you want my honest opinion, how to solve this problem best, how to make this the best situation you can, it would be as painful as it is, as much draft capital as you screwed around with to get this guy Watson under center. You trade up and you get that Penix Jr. You trade up and you get that quarterback, and you just start preparing. Because I'm telling you right now, 2 years from now, Watson's going to be a failure. 2 years from now, the plug will be at least being talked about or already pulled on Deshaun Watson. You just have to get through a certain amount of that money being actually spent before you can use any sort of dead cap money time. Let's pull a plug. I know it's going to cost a lot, but we got to do it. You can't do it. This is the early stage of the money flowing on that contract. So Watson, I feel bad for Browns fans because they got such a good team from top to bottom. It's a phenomenal squad. It's an absolute amazing squad. But they don't have a quarterback. They don't have a quarterback. Houston Texans balled out. Stroud, 274, 3 TDs. Devin Singletary, 5.1 yards per carry, 1 touchdown, 66 yards on the ground. Devin Singletary also pulled in 3 passes for 4 yards, but still 3 PPR points right there. And then you got 96 yards and a touchdown for Nico. Brevin Jordan looked athletic in his 1 catch for 76 yards and a touchdown. Easy to get excited about Brevin Jordan because he's a very, very amazing athlete. He's very fast. He obviously agile and fast. He saw in that touchdown reception, 76 yards. Problem is they don't use him enough. If they did, I'd get more excited. But this is something where a couple people in Dynasty circles will come out and go, Smitty, what do you think about Brevin Jordan? Because it just piques people's interest. The interest, increases when something like this happens. But I'm telling you, until I see them use him, then I can't get excited about it. They also have Dalton Schultz, who we like a lot. He was a previous Moon Man, so hard to really like Brevin Jordan yet. But he's got talent if they used him. But Schultz, 1 catch for 37 yards and a touchdown. I wish they used him a little more. Nico, 6 for 96, 7 targets. Tank Dell, there's still room for Tank Dell and Nico in this offense. They're going to get better and better. But what a phenomenal game. I got all these stats right here. Nico, again, 96 yards and a touchdown. Stroud, we just talked about Stroud getting that. That's Nico. Nico, phenomenal game, Nico. Phenomenal game. Unbelievable. Stroud, 274-3. Could have easily had 5 touchdowns. It's so weird how these 3-4 touchdown games happen in a half, and it's like clockwork. They just never score another touchdown. Whenever somebody has 4 touchdowns in the first half, it's like you think to yourself, man, can you imagine if he has another 4? But they always get 0. They always get no more touchdowns. You don't get a single other touchdown in the second half. It's just the law of touchdown averages. Singletary, again, what happens with this guy? He's a free agent next year. If anybody's wondering, where does he go? Do they retain him? Do they bring him back as a starter? I'll be honest. I'll be quietly excited about him if he's retained as a starter. I don't know about going elsewhere, though. I like him where he's at. He's a good fit. Joe Flacco, again, here's him turning into a pumpkin. 307, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. I mean, he had some moments. A lot of it wasn't all his fault, but he's just not gonna survive. You know what I'm saying? In that scenario, the wave was gonna crash. We knew the wave was coming down. The wave was coming down. We just didn't know when. Laws of script writing. That's right. So that's all. I mean, look, we got a couple names we need to talk about heavy. Are we putting Rashee Rice is going on the Moon Man list? It's just a matter of when, right? Stroud's going on the Mars Men list. It's just a matter of when. In fact, maybe we do it right now. Maybe we christen this thing right now on the show right now. Mars Men, first Mars Man of the year. Rashee Rice looks unbelievable. Pacheco looks fantastic. Pacheco was a Moon Man for 2023, so he made us extremely proud.
Mashed potatoes!
Yeah, buddy.
Absolute monster, Pacheco. Absolute monster. Rashee Rice, I don't know where he goes. Someone said 3rd round. That seems high, but then again, I could see it. But 4th round, I guess, maybe. I don't know. A lot of it does depend on how they finish, Like I said, the fact that Achane had no points really tonight other than, 5 points, something like that? 5 fantasy points? I mean, that's going to influence so many people who were quiet last week. Anybody see any Achane haters last week? I didn't see any Achane haters. Ziggy, did you see any Achane haters last week? I didn't see any. He didn't. Look, he didn't even respond. He didn't understand the question. Ziggy, were there any Achane haters last week?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
See, he doesn't even know. No one knows because no Achane hater could be found. But now, because he had 5 points in a snow game where, the weather was 0 degrees and the football was frozen and the game script did not allow for any sort of running at all. Now they're going to come out because they feel like they got ammunition. Will do your worst. Bring your Achane hate. I could care less.
Devon Achane, please report to your shuttle to Saturn. Your shuttle is leaving. Prepare for departure. Touchdown probability high.
Bring it all you want. But wow, what a day. Let's get to these super chats, then we'll open the phone lines. Deckard with a $2 holler. Stroud, top 3 QB 2024. I don't hate it, bro. I don't hate it at all. And we might just christen the Mars Man list right now with the first Mars Man. Maybe we'll do it official tomorrow. Tank Dell is a buy low in the offseason because people are worried about his leg. I have no worries. His bone, will he be healed? Dell to the moon. I love Dell. Dell's most likely going to be on the Moon Man list as well. The thing that sucks is, how do you put, Nico, Dell, and Stroud all on one? You're just consuming so many spots, but they're all going to ball, man. I don't know. If let me show you the Mars Man list. It's right here. It's empty.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars Men. Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Do we do it? I think we just, let's put on here. We'll announce it later. But Stroud will be essentially the first Moon Man of the year. We'll put him here. There we go. Stroud Mars Man. First Mars Man of the year. Let's go ahead and put Stroud in here. I mean, we got to do it now. We can't wait any longer. Let's try that again. Let's run that back. We'll do an official announcement video or something. But man, Mars Man extraordinaire, number 1.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men. Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.
Unbelievable. Tank Dell. Appreciate you, Aaron, with the super chat. Thank you, Deckard, for the super chat. Hope all is well, Deckard to the moon. Drop a prayer emoji, a rocket emoji, an eggplant emoji, a thumbs up emoji, everything you can for Deckard. Throw it at him. Deckard, appreciate you. Yeah, man, what an unbelievable day. You know, a lot of fantasy scoring. I mean, between Rashee Rice and Nico, and Tyreek Hill did well. And then Stroud and Pacheco, and getting something out of Travis Kelce, even though he completely disappointed us. Unbelievable. Just imagine if yeah, that's what I said earlier. Who said that? Hybrid. That's what I said earlier. Imagine what Stroud's going to do once Tank Dell's back. Because Stroud, as I said earlier on the show, rewatch that segment if you missed it. Once Tank Dell's back, like Stroud is like a whole level above where he was. He's progressed so much since the last time he and Dell were on the field together. Like mentally even, you know? Mentally, physically. The offense has progressed together. It's all rapport, you know? It's all glue. Everything's glued together and it's all rising together. And so can you imagine what's going to happen when Tank Dell gets back? It's going to be amazing. It's going to be unreal how good this team is. This team is, I mean, who knows where they go? You know, like part of me feels like, you know, if the Steelers lose and the Buffalo Bills win, then Houston plays Baltimore. And that is a tough matchup. But if it's the other way around, if the Pittsburgh Steelers win and they face Baltimore because they would be the lowest remaining seed, so they would face Baltimore, and then Houston Texans would come down and face off against KC, I think the Texans could beat the KC Chiefs, man. I think they can. The KC Chiefs are not like all put together. They're kind of like a version of the Eagles right now. They're kind of patchwork. They get by, they scrape by, they win, but when push comes to shove, and I think the Philadelphia Eagles will probably beat the Bucs, but not a lock at this point given they're in shambles. Once they advance on to Dallas or the Niners, depending on how that bracket goes, because they could go either way. Philly's probably getting knocked off if they don't get their act together, and I don't know how they can get their act together. As for the Chiefs, I feel the same way. I think that they can win, and they're doing it. They figure it out. But Houston could beat KC. I'm not saying Houston can't beat Baltimore, but it's gonna be a lot harder matchup. Stroud's gonna see things he's never seen before. You know, in this game with the pressure and everything, it's gonna be crazy. But man, Houston made a good run. If they do exit next round, they've more than done what they were supposed to do. And man, what a great coaching job, what a great GM job. Caserio is obviously one of the best GMs in the NFL, and you don't hear about him at all, which is crazy because you don't hear about what Caserio did with Watson and how that was the most genius thing in the world. How do you get rid of Watson the way he got rid of Watson for what was it, 3 first-round picks? Ziggy, how many first-round picks were traded for Deshaun Watson?
In the 2017 NFL Draft, Deshaun Watson was drafted 12th overall by the Houston Texans.
That's not what I was asking, Ziggy. What was involved in the Deshaun Watson trade? Let's see if I can ask it in a way that he'll... Ziggy, what was traded for Deshaun Watson?
Deshaun Watson was last traded on March 20th, 2022.
Never mind. Was it 3 first-rounders, guys? Don't worry about him. Ziggy off. He's garbage. Ziggy, you're fired.
No. Now I'll have to wave my magic wand. Abracadabra. I am now rehired.
Okay. Yeah, so Deshaun Watson, worst trade ever. Worst trade ever. Worst trade ever, followed up by the worst contract ever. And if you're a Browns fan, you can call in and talk to me about it. I'm not mad at you. We can politely disagree with each other, but you're not going to convince me of anything. You can't convince me Deshaun Watson is magical. You can't convince me again he's going to be good when you all tried to do that last offseason. Smitty, you'll see. You'll see. He took a while to get his groove back, Smitty. You'll see. Deshaun Watson will do it. You're not going to be able to convince me again. You can't convince me he's turning from a pumpkin into a prince and staying there, because he's not.
Call into the show. Call into the show.
All right, dial in. Yeah, I don't know. Ziggy, how much am I paying you?
Sorry, I don't know that one.
Yeah, I don't either. Gotta look into that. We gotta look into that. Crazy day. Yeah, Ziggy works for me, and I work for you, so Ziggy works for you. That's good. That's a good way to look at it, Isaac. That's a fantastic way to look at it. Sebastian, live.
Yeah, I called in about my concerns with Jalen Hurts and the Eagles potentially moving forward, and you said that situation looked pretty safe after this A.J. Brown news. What are you thinking about that take? You still stand where you were?
No. I mean, we've gone over this when I did my bracket. That, you know, they're definitely. I mean, look at my bracket. They're in shambles, bro. I mean, not only is Hurts injured in his last game, A.J. Brown's not playing, and Devonta Smith is, you know, while he's playing, he said to be playing, they put him in crutches and a walking boot, you know, like NASCAR when he gets off the field. He's walking around in that thing after. He's still not 100%. So that's why I have on my bracket here Dallas knocking him off. But I think they probably slipped past the Philadelphia Eagles. But if they were all healthy, I think that they would slip through to this title game somehow, some way, unless they ran into the Niners. But again, that all depends on who wins who in this first round. Then I think if it was all put together, Hurts wasn't injured. They're still struggling with a lot offensively. They're not the same team they were last year, but they still have so many amazing components. They're still a well put together team. They're just not. We're comparing them all the time to last year's version, but they're still a top, 4 team in the conference, like no doubt about it. But they're shaky right now because they're not fully healthy. Their gas tank is like half full right now. Hurts having that finger.
I was talking about Dynasty.
Dynasty. Yeah, I'm not. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You're talking about Dynasty question? Because I was wondering when you called in on this, because I did this bracket well before like a week ago.
Oh, this was like 2 days ago.
Okay, so you're talking about am I worried about Hurts Dynasty? No, bro. Why would you be worried about Hurts Dynasty-wise, though? You just think the whole team's going to continue to get worse, and he's not going to. I mean, he scores so many points on the ground alone. He's an amazing quarterback. Even if A.J. Brown left, they have Devonta Smith there. They have Goddard. They've got a really good squad. They need to. We'll see what happens, bro. Because I guess I'd answer it this way. Is there another? Could you call me back in like a week and asking me this question again, and I have a different answer in a negative way? Maybe if Sirianni gets fired, if the Eagles lose to the Bucs and he gets fired and they bring in Bill Belichick, I'll be a little bit more worried. Because I feel like maybe he could still. Hurts might be the one that survives the most, though, because I think he runs for a bunch of touchdowns. I think he's still gonna score a lot, but I'd still be worried about the continuity of the offense and the way Bill Belichick is these days, man. I don't want him in Atlanta. I don't want him in Philly. I don't really want him anywhere solid. I want him to go somewhere where he can't really damage too much, man. I think Bill Belichick's a risky piece to add to one of these squads. But and like in Dallas, if Dallas loses this game against Green Bay, I almost guarantee you McCarthy is at least, on his he's on the chopping block, and they're deciding whether to chop. Like he'll absolutely be sitting there on the chopping block 100%. It's just a matter of if they jump. So I'll probably say I can't guarantee that my answer won't change if Bill Belichick's coaching or something like that. But I mean, depends what you're talking about, bro. Like Hurts what versus
Just
what? Like yeah, but what are you trading him for? What's the comparative value? Like in a nutshell, I'm not worried. But like if you said, hey, I could swap him out for Josh Allen, I'd take Josh Allen. But I think he's still a top 3 lock quarterback. Yeah, I still love him in the top 3.
I just have them in a one QB league, and my team is just pretty well rounded. I don't really want to do much to it because I had Rasheed Rice and Tank Dell and Zay Flowers with like JT, so it's pretty well rounded. And I wasn't trying to do much, but my inner thoughts do tell me that I am a little worried.
Yeah, but here's the rub, bro. Is like, is there concern? Sure. Like, of course, but this comes back to my question when I say to somebody, hey, what is riskier, doubting or believing in this player? And in the case of McCaffrey 2024, the risk is much greater to doubt him than to believe in him. But there is risk, of heavy risk on both sides, heavy risk. So, I feel the same way about this one. Like, there is risk involved, but the risk is way, way heavier to doubt Jalen Hurts as a top 3 quarterback than to start, like, panicking and trading him. Like, you know, he scored number 2 overall this year in quarterback scoring. Josh Allen scored 1. Dak Prescott was behind, depending on your scoring, by about 20 points or so. Lamar was behind that by about 40 points from there. Jordan Love was behind that by about 10. So Hurts, like, was literally within striking distance, 1 game of points behind Josh Allen. I just like there, you know, and that's a year where he's banged up. That's a year that his team's in shambles. That should give you an idea of what his worst case scenario is, bro. Because his team didn't have the greatest year, and he scored second in QB points, and overall, depending on your scoring, obviously, he finished in the top 5 overall. You know, CeeDee Lamb, McCaffrey, Tyreek Hill, Hurts, and Josh.
He did that last year too.
Yeah, so like, what more do you want out of your dynasty quarterback? Like, you could get worried about this and that all you want. You could worry about all the buzz. You could worry about me talking about Sirianni getting canned. You could worry about Bill Belichick. Just like, unless you're going in and getting a move, like let's say you're trading Hurts for CJ Stroud and something, then I would do that. But you'd have to be getting something significant. All right, hang tight, Sebastian. Ethan, you're live.
Appreciate you.
Yeah, Ethan, you're live.
Smitty, I know we go best player available, but if people are overpaying for tight ends next year, who do you like late? Like that's safe, like Jake Ferguson and Dalton Schultz, or?
Let me take a peek at my thefantasyfootballshow.com rankings just to refresh my memory here. Okay, so Laporta will go early. McBride will go early. Andrews will probably still go early to some degree, but he could be a value. You never know. He could also be a risk, but Hawkinson will go early, but he'll be injured, so we'll have to play that by ear. But Hawkinson, obviously will be in the cards of an early-ish quarterback. Kittle, he's older. There's risk there. It depends on where his ADP is. So Njoku will probably go in the middle range. I don't think he'll go super early, but I think he'll go middle rounds. Like he'll be drafted in an appropriate place probably. I think Goddard, depending how Goddard finishes, could be a value. I think Kincaid's going to be an extreme value depending on how he finishes. If he finishes on a tear, then no one's going to know. No one's going to miss that he's coming down the street, bro. They're going to see him coming from a mile away. But he could definitely have a 70-yard game, 7 receptions, 70 yards, and get bumped out, and then everyone's not really paying attention to him. Ferguson's going to be a nice value. Evan Ingram still a nice value. Luke Musgrave in Green Bay is a nice value. Kyle Pitts. I mean, the tight end position is so deep, bro. I'm down at 14, 15. So you'll have no problem finding a tight end like that to start for you, let alone probably 2 of them.
Could Waller have any value next year, you think? Or
who's that?
I don't know.
Who's that guy? Darren, doesn't that guy play video games?
Fall apart all the time.
Darren Waller, as much as he was a great player, Ziggy, how old is Darren Waller? I think he's 38.
Darren Waller is 31 years old.
31.
He was born on September 13th,
Okay.
1990.
Ziggy, off. He'll be 32 years old next year. I know Kelsey's doing it at the ripe age of, 30? Ziggy, how old is Travis Kelce? 35, right?
Travis Kelce is 34 years old.
He'll be,
He was born on October
So he
5th,
turns 35 during the Ziggy off. He turns 35 during the season. That's not going to happen. It's an anomaly. Waller's injury riddled too. Like just complete. The one thing about getting older is it's harder to stay healthy. So if you're an older player, this is why Mostert should be such a concern for people next year. When you're an older player and you struggle to stay healthy, you're like the best bet to get injured out of anybody. I'm not saying there aren't anomalies, but Frank Gore would be the one anomaly that you should at least always consider in your mind because he was so injury prone. He had every injury under the sun constantly. He was the most injured running back early in his career out of any running back in like history. Ankle, knee, ankle, shoulder, like everything. He was constantly getting hurt.
Gore.
And then one day, Frank Gore woke up and all of his joints were replaced with steel joints. All of his knuckles were metal. His ankles were ossified. Like and then Frank Gore never got injured again. Like you gotta always remember, like the body's weird. The body is strange, but the historically, if you're an injury prone player and you're in your 30s, you're in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
You're playing football. like a young player that's like 24, by the time they get to week 17, every day is harder to get out of bed. And they literally, I don't know if you noticed the Dolphins, they don't even practice anymore. The Dolphins take off Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, the entire offensive line. Like nobody's even practicing. They can't even practice. They can't even move. And so imagine a 32-year-old Darren Waller who can't stay healthy. Like you never know, bro, but there's no way I'm drafting Darren Waller expecting anything.
Hey, next year you're going to see come preseason, they'll probably bring in another running back with the Dolphins. They'll probably have Achane do some running with the twos, and people are going to be talking crap. Just so you know, they're going to.
Oh, I can't wait. I don't even know. I don't know what they're going to do because I think with Mostert they'll maybe not address the position, and that's going to be that's what like I've been saying all this week and last week, is that Achane's probably looking at Mostert staying in his role, and that's great because he'll probably not be able to fulfill his duties all year. So the Achane's going to not have this competition with anybody else. You never know. They could bring in somebody. The thing about Miami Mike is he loves Miami Dolphins or he loves Niners. So like, could I see Eli Mitchell over on the Dolphins, the Miami Niners? I could. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know what the hell he's going to do, but all right, bro. Hold on one second. Let me go over to DeBalt. DeBalt, you're live.
All right. Come on, Eddie.
What's up, bro?
Hey, so I know we're talking about Stroud, and if you don't know, again, I'm a Scarlet and Gray first. And don't underestimate this guy. He did it for 3 years against the best of the best.
Who are you talking about?
In college, he's been.
Who are you talking about?
Stroud.
We're just stating. You're stating we're praising him right now, DeBalt.
I know. No.
You cracked me up.
Don't underestimate the guy.
It's almost DeBalt. You cracked me up. Last night you did the same thing. It's almost like you came into a different conversation. Last night you came in and you said the same thing, had the same tone to it. Like, Smitty, don't underestimate Stroud. What in the hell you think anybody's underestimating Stroud on this live stream? It's like you're reading off an index card from last week or weeks prior or something. I don't know what you did. What did you say last night? You did the same thing last night. I love you, pal. I'm not mad at you. I'm just laughing at you.
No. We're good.
Hey,
Smitty. I'm a Stroud believer.
I know, but okay, I mean, hey, what more can I? Hold on. Let me press the button one more time for you, DeBalt.
He's on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men.
Smitty, just wanted to call in and say, don't underrate Stroud tonight, okay? What can I do for you?
Yeah.
DeVault, besides that.
Going to a quarterback for redraft. Honestly, I wouldn't take Mahomes over Stroud.
I don't blame you.
I mean, unless Mahomes gets a wide receiver 1, like I would take Hurts.
Whoa.
Yes. Allen, yes.
Rasheed Rice might be a wide receiver 1 at this point, bro. He's good, man. He's good.
I'm not saying he's not good, but are you okay? Nico's better than Rice. So is Tank Dell. In my opinion, I believe he is.
I think that what you could argue Rice is as good as one of those, maybe. Like, you could argue it. I'm not saying I choose which one. I'm just saying I don't know that I'd be coming in and saying Rice doesn't look like as good of a breakout candidate as one of Nico or Dell. Because if you love Nico, you're not going to love Dell as much. If you love Dell, you're not going to love Nico as much. So whichever one you think is the two, Rice is easily as good as that player. Like Rice is doing phenomenal things, bro. I get what you're saying. You want a bigger name player, and I get it. In order to like Mahomes over Stroud, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with.
Yeah.
I mean, Kelsey's dropping off.
Exactly.
Nico and Dell will be there together next year, so I don't disagree with you. But I mean, Rice is fantastic, bro. I think he is a wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
I think he's a low end wide receiver, fantasy football wide receiver 1 potentially.
Not taking anything against Rice. No. But Stroud has a better. Honestly, has a better offense. I mean, Kelsey's not doing so great. But we all love Pacheco. I do. I love the way he runs. By the way, you can just tell he runs with passion. You know.
Matt.
He's great.
Matt O says, "Don't underestimate Michael Jordan, Smitty."
He's all right. He's
right. He's right. What did you say the other night, DeBalt? You did the same thing to me. You did the same thing. You came in and you said something. I'm like, DeBalt, this doesn't make sense what you're saying, though. Like, it's almost as if you're arguing something that's not there. I don't know. Okay.
Okay. All right. Well, we all know my stand. Well, we all love Stroud.
It's almost like you're cutting the front of the line here, and you didn't get to maybe stake your claim on Stroud earlier, so it felt like you were coming in last minute and just planning down your sign and going, "I love Stroud." I just wanted you to know. And I did a long time ago. I was in the back of the line. Sons of bees. All right, hey, hold on, DeBalt. Carl, you're live.
Yeah, no worries.
Carl. Hello, Carl. You're on mute. Carl? Carl? Hello, Carl. Okay, Ethan, you're back. Ethan, you're live. I don't know where Carl is. He might have.
Yeah, Smitty.
I think the ball put him to sleep.
I was looking into the Jets. They could get Bakhtiari next year at left tackle because I think the Packers are gonna release him. And
hold on.
What they should do is
hold on. Yeah, this is Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, make it happen. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah.
Aaron just made a call.
Negotiate.
It's gonna happen.
Negotiate with Rodgers and be like, hey, let us cut Lazard and Cobb and go get why's my mind gone blank? I
don't know.
The receiver for the Jags.
Ridley?
Yeah, Ridley, because he's so good at catching back shoulder, and Lawrence, that's not really his path. You know what I mean? He's a good quarterback. It's just he keeps throwing it out of bounds. And if you got Ridley and Bakhtiari over there, I mean, he could have like a James Jones 14 touchdown type year, you know? So
I hear you, bro.
I don't know. I think they should make the move. There's
there's going to be a lot of Jet talk. What do the Jets do? Do they bring in, do they trade for Devontae Adams? It's a big rumor. I don't know if that's going to be costly. It's a big cap move. Do they bring in somebody else? They got it. Like, if it was me, I know it's going to be hard to have this conversation with Aaron Rodgers, but you have to sit him down and go, look, A-Rod, you're not a spring chicken, and you folded like a chair with really not a whole lot going on back there. And, we just got to be a little cautious here because, you look at Zach Wilson over there. He's picking his nose on the bench. We can't send him back into the game if you go down. Can we draft a quarterback? This won't be Jordan Love. You don't have to be worried about anything, but can we draft a quarterback and you groom him so when you leave after 2 years under center from here moving forward, because Aaron Rodgers wants to play 2 years and maybe he only plays 1 year, maybe gets hurt again or something like that. Can you groom Penix Jr.? Because a guy like Michael Penix Jr. will fall most likely out of all the quarterbacks in the top 5. And the Jets would be so brilliant to do that. And I would have that tough conversation. The problem is I feel like Aaron Rodgers controls more than he should. And I love Aaron Rodgers. But, I mean, they
receiver choices.
I mean, to not go make any bold move, like there's talk about Cousins before Cousins shot down. He had no trade clause. Cousins, before he got injured, was like, I'm not leaving. But, like, you didn't hear any rumblings like Salah saying, I got to figure this out. He was just like, oh, God, I can't step on Aaron Rodgers' toes. You got to set yourself up safer, Salah. Robert Salah's got to set him up safer. But, yeah, the Jets are going to be heavily involved in some moves, I think. They got to protect Rodgers, but they also will be able to, I believe the offensive line is going to look a lot worse now than it will because they have a bad quarterback under center where they're getting, smashed to pieces. But you put Aaron Rodgers in there, your defense backs up. Your defense spaces out. You instantly have better blocking the minute Aaron Rodgers is back under center. Immediately. Your defensive production probably doubles immediately. I'm not saying you can't still improve it, but it's absolutely playing at a 50% capacity without Rodgers under center because there's no quick release and defenses are crowding them, rushing them, blitzing them, 8-man fronts. You're not doing that against Aaron Rodgers, so it's much less pressure.
Yeah. Has Belichick yourself called in at all? Because you guys have been going pretty hard on Belichick lately,
Yeah, was he a big Belichick fan?
I don't know. I just felt like saying Belichick because I heard you guys talking about him. I started thinking of Belichick walking by that kid with the Lions jersey, with the Stone Cold music.
Yeah, well, we have if you're talking about the follower Belichick yourself, that's one of our avid followers. He hasn't been here in a while. You're right, but he very, very much is a Patriots fan, I believe. But I don't know if he's a Bill fan or if that name is like playing on that. I don't know, but I'm not.
Jones likes Parcells. Maybe he'll go with Belichick if this game gets lost.
Yeah, we talked about that. If the Eagles lose against the Bucks and the Dallas Cowboys lose against the Green Bay Packers, both McCarthy and Sirianni could both be fired, and Belichick might be going to one of those teams. And as Adam Schefter said, and I believe it to be pretty accurate, he's not very accurate about a lot of things that he predicts. It's only him reporting. He's a great reporter. He has great contacts, but when he starts predicting stuff, he's always so off base. But Schefter said, and I agree with this, that the team Bill goes to might not be in play right now. And I believe that to be true. That goes to the point of Dallas. They lose. As much as McCarthy did well this year, he's on the hot seat at least. They literally bring him in and they're going to go like this. They're going to go. It'll be like Gladiator days. Be like in or out.
Hey, do you remember when Schefter said 2 weeks in a row that Sterling Shepard was playing, and then he didn't play? I'll never forgive him for that.
I think I remember that.
Yeah, lost
all right.
2 weeks.
All right, Ethan, appreciate you, man. I'll let you go. Later, pal.
Thanks, Smitty. All right.
DeBalt, anything else, DeBalt, before I let you go?
Actually, to give you a little update, it was on the Dynasty channel we were talking about it, but I actually got the 101 trade done. I just sold all my picks. So I have only one pick this year and 3 picks next year. But I'm going to get MBH, so I'm good.
Oh, so what was the trade? You got to forgive me, bro. I don't remember things like that.
No worries.
Hit me with
it's my Dynasty team that gets you mad.
Okay. Oh, yeah, the good team. Okay. Yeah, what did you end up trading?
Yeah, so We swapped 101 picks. He had the 101. I had the 110. We swapped those picks. I gave him my 4th round this year, my 5th rounder, and my 2nd rounder next year.
That's it?
And
you didn't even give a 1st rounder up, and you went from 10 to 1?
We swapped, but yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bro.
And then I still have CMC. I still have Tyreek, so I'm going to use both of them to go after Bijan now.
Yeah. Did anybody have a problem with that trade? Did they say, like, what are you doing?
Nah, I'm commish, and I leave it up to league veto. So if the league will vote.
The ball processed it on a Friday. He processed it on a Friday at midnight. It's got a 4-hour vote. 4-hour vote timer.
It's a 3 days. It's off-season.
The ball, you blasted him. Come on, bro. You should have added some.
I did.
That was unreal, bro.
I offered him CNC, the swap of the 1st rounders, my 2nd round next year, and he said no. I'm like, okay.
Okay. I'll give you a 5th and a 4th. Oh, no. Nice work, bro. All right, DeBalt. Appreciate you. Nice work, bro.
Yes, sir.
Later, pal. Appreciate you. Thanks for the super chat. Chat, follow the Dynasty channel. Stroud to the moon. Hey, DeBalt, before you go, don't sleep on Stroud, bro. Thank you, DeBalt, for the super chat. DeBalt to the moon. Chris, are you there? Are you sleeping, bro? Chris, hello? Or Carl? Carl, are you there? Carl? Carl? He just hung up. I think Carl fell asleep, and we just woke him up, and he did one of those. And Carl, normally they call back when someone sleeps and hangs up and like that, they freak out. They normally call right back. So Carl, call right back when you get your bearings, and we'll throw you on. Sebastian, you're live.
Hey, I noticed you were just talking about the scenario where the Jets may pick a quarterback and sit behind A-Rod. I mean, it makes total sense from a real life perspective and just the way things have been done before, and I do agree with that take. But do you think Aaron Rodgers, even if they had that conversation with them up front, and look, we're going to take him, but we're going to sit him behind you, do you think he would give that rookie, whoever it is, the Favre treatment that he got as a rookie, despite them having that conversation?
I think maybe. Like, if he got a guarantee that, of some sort, that, I don't know. It would be selfish of him, and I know people are going to say he's selfish. I love Aaron Rodgers. I'd understand both sides. I'd understand how it's stepping on toes. It'd also make me feel like, make this move next year, because this is my year, and believe in me, I'm coming back. Like, I believe in you, you believe in me, but they're going to be like, but dude, you're older, you just give it Achilles, you're coming back from. But I don't know. I think maybe he'd be okay with it. And I think he's confident that he'd outplay the rookie. But I think he would treat it differently if they just sat him down. I really do. Because that's the problem. If you remember when he told the story, they didn't even call him. He found out on draft day when they announced the pick. He didn't get a text or a phone call or a page back then. Hey, we're taking Jordan Love. It was just, blindsided, no communication, never involved him in anything, and now he gets to he has a lot of he can make a lot of decisions. But I think he wouldn't be opposed to it, grooming somebody behind him, and I think he's confident in himself that he would do well. It's a smart move to make. Look, they have to have a backup, right? They have to have a backup, and you could say, are you going to groom this kid Zach Wilson like you've been, or are you going to groom someone else? Like, someone's getting groomed. And let's say Penix falls to the 2nd round. I don't think that's stepping on anyone's toes. If it was in the top 15 overall, it would be a little bit worrisome. So you'd have to move down. It'd have to be one of those things where you get to this no QB alley here, where you go from 17th straight through to 32, and no one's taking quarterbacks. Nobody needs a quarterback in this entire string of picks from everybody that's in the playoffs. Pick 19 on. Well, really 17 and 18, because that's Trevor Lawrence and Burrow. So you look down, maybe Baker Mayfield, maybe Tampa Bay, but I don't think we'll see how that all plays out. But nobody needs a quarterback right here, unless the Miami Dolphins take a quarterback. But again, I don't think the Bucs or the Dolphins spend this pick on a quarterback. So you literally, once you get to pick 17, it's a slew of no QB picks. And so if you do draft a quarterback at 2.1, then I think you could have that conversation a lot easier. Hey, it's a second round guy. You know, I mean, I don't know. It's a good question. But
yeah, because I remember how he got treated as a rookie. And, I mean, they even sat Mahomes behind Alex Smith his rookie year. I don't know. I just thought
different
that was
time.
interesting.
Different time, though. All right, Sebastian. Anything else, bro?
No, that's all I got for
All right.
now. I'll call back if I have
All right,
another
let it,
one.
bro. Let it, bro. Young. What's up, Young? You're live.
It's me, Young, bro. Hey, how's it going? How you doing?
What's up, pal?
It's been a while, man. So here we are in the off season. This is my favorite time of year for your content. It's exciting stuff, you know.
I love it.
Truly though, I do. This is a good time right here. So now my league, we're moving on to. It's going to be a 2-man keeper now. So we're trying this for the first time. And so these are the 4, and this is going to transpire, this question. I'm going to ask this multiple times as the offseason goes on. But right now, as it stands, the guys that I feel like I want to keep is between Achane, Tank Dell, Kincaid, and Stroud. Right now, I feel like the Stroud Tank Dell stack is what I want to keep, but things may change, you know. What do you think?
You only can keep 2?
I can only keep 2. We can't keep the first and second round picks. But anyways,
do they have do they have rounds attached to them at all?
So yes. So Kincaid, I got him in like the 10th round. Tank Dell, I got him in the 14th round. And Achane I got in the 16th round, the very last round. So, yeah. And then,
Stroud?
and I got Stroud off waivers.
So he's 17 or 18 or what?
He, so he would be like, last. That's what that counts as.
We'll call it 17, 18. Okay. So, I mean, it's 1 QB, right?
1 QB, yes.
So as much as I love Stroud, this is one of those scenarios where you say to yourself, okay, like he's a fantastic keeper for sure, but can you draft him back fairly easy, or will you draft another quarterback you like back fairly easy, or do you just grab him, hold him, that way you have your core together or whatever? But I truly believe I would not hesitate in keeping Achane. I wonder if Tank Dell slips a little bit though, because of Nico doing so well. But again, like, where's Stroud going to go? Or where's the other quarterback going to go? I'd probably lean toward personally keeping Dell and Achane. But I really, really, really am torn between the Dell Stroud combo. But I'm not letting Achane go for a 16-round pick. Because he's a Mars man, for goodness sake.
He's on a shuttle to
Or, I'm
Mars.
sorry.
The Saturn Men.
Yeah, Saturn man, for goodness sake. Let me hit that button, the right button.
The Saturn Men.
One small.
I clearly love Achane in the 16th round, bro. That's zero risk. And again, you're getting Stroud back or a comparable quarterback, probably in like round 3, 4, 5. I know you want him, but Dell probably goes a little earlier. Like this is the age-old question that should answer every one of your keeper decisions. If you're out there watching, who do I keep? Well, who's going to get drafted first? I'm not saying that's always the answer, but when you love the player, it is. Because if Achane's getting drafted before Stroud, if Dell's getting drafted before Stroud and it's a 1 QB, then you have a better chance of drafting back Stroud. But I don't know. I mean, Stroud could climb into the 3rd round for all we know. It's really hard to say at this point. He still has a lot of potential You know, he has a game to go, at least one game to go. He might have 2 games. What if this guy goes all the way to the Super Bowl? You know, even if he loses, or what if he goes to the conference championship and balls out, then he could be a 3rd rounder locked. You know, if he has 3 touchdowns in every single one of the next 2 games, if he's the advanced one, then, you know, he could be a 3rd rounder. But in that, does that mean you take him there? Can you still does that bump down Mahomes? Does that bump down other quarterbacks that you're fine with getting in round late 3, early 4, or 5? I would say, for me, early answer is going to be Dell, Achane, but that could evolve to Stroud over Dell. We'll just have to wait and see. Because Dell could slip too, more than we think. It just depends. Offseason ADP will help.
Yeah, man. That's where I'm at with it too. It was always Dell and Achane for me, like, you know, weeks. That was where I was at with it. But now to see Stroud is starting to look like he's looking like a top 5 quarterback. So it's just interesting to see how it plays out. That was where I was. I'm like same. My thoughts are the same as you. So that's cool, man. Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, but you got a good decision on your hands, or a good dilemma on your hands, bro. I mean, but I would just do mock drafts, and when you get closer, when's your decision got to be made? What day or what month?
The 2 weeks before the draft, our draft. Okay. That's what it is right now. That's what the commission is saying. The commission is like my best friend, and so like I kind of we talk about these things, you know, and it's kind of we all kind of make the group decisions and stuff. We kind of we vote on things of that nature. So like, yeah, but that's how it is right now. So 2 weeks before the draft, you gotta lock in your keepers. So then that kind of gives everybody else in the league, they can see what they're working with, Yeah.
All right, bro.
And also as far as like trades and whatnot, things that will happen in the offseason.
Yeah, and call back, and you could just trade Stroud, or Dell away too, and upgrade a pick or something like that. We'll have more to talk about, but we need ADP data. We need to kind of run through some early best ball drafts, which we will certainly do this coming month. And we'll be doing 2024 Best Ball Mania drafts right when the Super Bowl ends. I believe they open it like that night at midnight or something like that. So on Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty, guys, make sure you hit that promo code that's pinned in the live chat. The link will insert code Smitty for you. The link's in the description of this video and every video, and code Smitty does the same thing. But we'll essentially be drafting Best Ball Mania 2024 like right when the Super Bowl's over, and we'll get a feel where Dell and Stroud are going, and then you'll kind of know which one has more keeper value. Because in redraft, if Stroud's going ahead of Dell, then he will in Dynasty too. So in keeper, Dynasty, whatever. All right, bro, appreciate you.
Sure, man, appreciate you, dude.
All right, later.
See you later. Talk to you later.
All right. Appreciate everybody being in here. What else we got here? Any other chat questions real quickly before we go? Underdog Fantasy promo code Smitty. Hit it. Do it live. Achane took a vacation today, says Niners. Ah ha ha, bro. It's so funny. Are you just trying to like... Yeah, dude. Bro, you're going to be so mad at yourself next year. You're going to be so mad at yourself next year, bro. if that's your take on Achane, like I don't know what your I forget, Niners, what's your stance on him, but I know we're going to see a couple people just kind of like straggle in, act like they've been here the whole time, but quiet, about Achane, and act like him doing bad today had anything to do with him.
Devon Achane, please report to your shuttle to Saturn. Your shuttle is leaving. Prepare for departure. Touchdown probability high.
Just buckle up. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. I'm so excited that he didn't have a big day. So excited. It makes it so much more glorious. Achan would be lucky to be on the he's lucky to be on the Dolphins. He'd be worthless elsewhere. Tell everybody, please. Literally one of the most talented running backs in the entire league. Let me see. Number one. Where's our Achan board when we need to pull it up? Number 1 in the National Football League in the history of the NFL in yards per carry.
Mashed potatoes. Yeah, buddy.
Number one. Not only that, Achan had 11 touchdowns when he only got running back 24 production.
Mashed potatoes. Yeah, buddy.
Not only that, Achan, 11 touchdowns, highest yards per carry in the history of the NFL. Also, the number 1 overall running back scoring performance in all of 2023 over Christian McCaffrey, over everybody. With Mostert in the game, with Mostert having, I believe it was a top 10 overall, maybe top 5 overall running back performance as well in the same game. Like I think what people don't understand is if Mostert wasn't in that game, scoring, what was it, 3 touchdowns, I think? If Mostert wasn't in that game, Achan would have not had 4 touchdowns and 200 yards rushing and 30 receiving yards. He might have had 3 or 350 rushing and 5 or 6 touchdowns. He would have had the best game anybody's ever even talked about, dreamed about, played in Madden. You can't get those stats on Madden. Like, if anybody should be lucky, it's not that he's on the Dolphins, it's that Mostert was in that game, because this man would have had 300-400 yards total. It's unbelievable. People don't even think of that. This man had 200 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 30 receiving yards, 230 yards and 4 scores, while his counterpart had something very similar. Imagine what his stat line would be. It's crazy to me. I love the Achan haters. I love them. They're so good for us. Like, we do owe them a debt of gratitude. Because without the Achan haters, we would pay through the roof. We would pay through the roof. And we're not going to have to.
Mashed potatoes. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Yes, sir, from Cali. What's up?
Yo. Yeah, funny thing about Achan, I picked him up week 2, and I dropped him right before week 3. But I had Mostert as well. So week 3 was when he had those 51 points in fantasy.
Yep.
But yeah, and then my cousin picked him up right after. But I just want to see, I have a 25-1 parlay, and I just saw your bracket, so I just wanted to see what you think about my takes on this first round. So I have Buffalo Bills winning. I took Kansas City and Houston. Dallas, I have the Rams, and I think the only one that we differed on was the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
How do you think the Eagles are going to do without A.J. Brown?
I think that they still can win this game, but will it be a cakewalk? No. And could I see the Bucs winning it? Yeah. So I'll be honest with you. This one I don't feel great about, and I don't necessarily feel great about this Rams Detroit game either, because I love the Detroit Lions, bro. You know, obviously, I love Kyron and Gibbs. This is gonna be the most fun game I think we were gonna see the entire playoffs. I love this game right here. This game's gonna be so exciting. But I think what I default to is who's on fire. Kind of both of them, but the Rams are on a terror right now, and they're you can't match up against them. Doesn't matter their defensive matchup. They torched the Niners offensively. Like they were able to just run all over them, throw all over. Like you can't match up against them. They have too many weapons. What's Detroit?
Yeah.
Detroit good at home. You know, Goff is good at home, but like Goff has been hit and miss. Goff has had horrible games and really good games, horrible games. So I give the inconsistency likelihood to the Detroit Lions, and so that's kind of what pushed me over the edge. But I'll be honest with you, if the Detroit Lions are firing on all cylinders and they run the damn ball really well initially, and they don't get behind and have to abandon giving the football to like Gibbs, like the Dolphins had to. The Dolphins had to abandon the run, and that's why you didn't see any of these. Because I'm honest and objective about my fantasy football and pick'em analysis. You didn't see me on this because I put these on Instagram every time on my stories. You guys got to follow me on IG if you don't. If you want these, Instagram, The Fantasy Football Show. On my stories, you just click my face, the little circle there. You go through all my stories every day. You're missing out if you don't have my Instagram. There's a lot that goes on it. But I put these three up, and you didn't see me put up Devon Achane. You didn't see me put up Mostert. I mean, I still picked him in a couple, pick'ems just because I love those Dolphin players. But when push comes to shove and I'm shoving out advice, these are the three that I leaned on most heavily. We landed them. You didn't see me invest much content or topics or segments or any sort of conversation on the Dolphins running backs scoring massive amounts of points in this game, even with the weather, because we knew they'd probably be playing from behind. So Pacheco was the clear favorite here. That stat's just telling the 0-10 in weather below 40 degrees for the Dolphins. Like, they didn't really stand a chance.
Oh wow, I didn't hear that stat.
But anyway, back to my point. My point is that like I felt like a little bit uneasy here, but I'll be honest, my gut told me, okay, Flacco's going to turn back into a pumpkin at some point. And in the Texans, Stroud in this narrative, I think it just continues, man. He's only getting better. The hype behind this situation, the vibe behind this situation, it feels very much like the vibe behind this Rams situation. And so I just kind of feel like that's what made me choose here. And Green Bay could beat Dallas. It's certainly possible. But I think out of all the games that's most on the fence for me, it's this Rams and Detroit Lions game. It's so close for me. But this is my bracket. This is how I feel. The Eagles squeak by because Hurts is that good. Devonta Smith is still that good. Swift is that good.
Yeah.
Goddard's still there. Like, they got a lot of weapons. A.J. Brown being out sucks, but they could run in 3 touchdowns with Jalen Hurts alone, So for me, I'm feeling like, a team that could only score 9 points last week in the Tampa Bay Bucks, they could do what the Rams did. Remember the Rams versus the Minnesota Vikings? It was 3-0 at the end of the game, worst game in the history of the NFL. And then the very next week, the Raiders, who scored 0 points the week prior, scored 64 or some crazy amount. So like the Bucks could come out and just because they scored 9 points last week, barely, scoring points at all, not scoring a touchdown, they could come out and have 21 points and touchdowns and a field goal, and like it's certainly possible. But Mike Evans is a phenomenal, talent still, and I think he could deliver a 1 or 2 touchdown game at any moment. I love Mike Evans in this matchup, but I still believe that the Eagles will outpace them because I don't think this team's going to score enough against this Philly defense, which is spotty and vulnerable for sure, but opportunistic. And I just think that there's going to be some sort of like the Eagles outlast them even without A.J. Brown. But once they get to this next round, whether it's against the Niners or the depending on who wins this game. So if the Green Bay Packers don't win, then Dallas is going to go over here. And if Philly so it depends on this Rams game. If the Rams lose to the Lions, then Philly's going to face the Niners, and they're going to lose. If the Rams win and the Green Bay Packers lose, then the Rams are the worst team left, so they're going to face the Niners, and the Eagles would go down to the Dallas Cowboys. So the matchups are a little bit, tough to like. Do I think that the Eagles could beat the Dallas Cowboys? Yes. I'm also very perplexed right here. Philly versus Dallas. That one's probably one where I feel like I don't know. I'm teeter-tottering on it. I locked this in. I'm not going to change it. But if I had to say the 2 weak points of the bracket for me are the Rams, Detroit, Philly, Tampa, but also Philly, Dallas. Because I think if the Eagles do escape this, and I do have them escaping, really at the end of the day, the only thing I'm tempted to change is Philly over Dallas. But Philly's in shambles, so I'm going to go with Dallas.
Yeah. Okay. You don't think that locker room drama in Philly is going to make a big impact on the field?
It will. That's why they're losing against Dallas. I mean, all of it together is going to make a big deal. It's going to be madness.
No, I'm saying for this first round.
I mean, yeah, that's why it's
against the Buccaneers.
That's why it's going to be a close game. Yeah, it definitely is.
The spread is only.
There's locker room drama. There's Sirianni losing the locker room rumors. There's the fact that they aren't jiving at all. A.J. Brown's out. Cohesiveness isn't there. The camaraderie's not there. Jalen Hurts saying that we aren't playing at a high level, and who did that offend? Who agrees with that? What's that all about? How's that trickling down? There's a lot of negatives, bro. But that's why it's a close matchup. I mean, I'm just not gonna bet on the Bucks. I'm not saying I'll win. I'll be right. I'm not saying I'll be right, but I'm not doing it. All right, bro.
Yeah. Now they've just been, like you were talking about earlier, who's been on a hot streak? It seems like Tampa Bay has been on more of a hot streak. That's why I kind of more went them. But yeah, I just wanted to see your opinion. I appreciate the time, and I'll probably be calling back these next couple of weeks.
All right, man. Good luck. Later. Guys, get on over to Underdog Fantasy, promo code Smitty. Links in the description of this video and every video. If you're watching a replay, it's in the description. The link's also in the live chat pinned. The link includes promo code Smitty. You can also insert that manually if you downloaded the app without going through the link, but make sure you enter code Smitty when they ask how did you hear about us. And yeah, I mean, it's gonna be such a fun day tomorrow. I appreciate everybody being in here. And if I had to, I've already you already see my bracket, so you know what I'm thinking. But this Green Bay, the 2 games tomorrow are the Green Bay and Rams game. So this, let me put the bracket back up. The 2 games tomorrow are this Rams Detroit, the Green Bay Dallas games. And then the Monday night game is going to be the Philly Tampa and the Buffalo Bill Pittsburgh game, which got postponed to Monday. So this is Monday. This is Monday. This is tomorrow. This is tomorrow or today. Some of you are watching. So gonna be a fun day tomorrow. I don't think I'll be live before the games, but I'll certainly be live to break down everything after. Hit that like button on your way out the door. Appreciate every single one of you. Thank you to my super chatters, Deckard, Aaron, DeBalt, every one of you that dropped super chats and comments and such. Appreciate you all. I don't know if we'll go live on the Dynasty channel about Stroud. We might. I might leave that for tomorrow. I might go live like during the games tomorrow on Stroud. I'm going to Disneyland tomorrow. I'll be watching the games while I'm waiting in line. Attaboy, Sebastian. All right, I'll see you all later. Appreciate every single one of you.
Kenneth Skywalker.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
See you all later. Appreciate you. Deuces. Let's see that one more time.
The stack above all stacks. It's time to drop the pancake emojis in the live chat.
Later.
emojis on a shuttle to Mars. Mars men. Loads dropping and spinning aimlessly in space.